Hey guys, happy Wednesday. It's Joyce at Medusa was framed. Medusa readings, and I apologize. I've been lame. Uh, I didn't fall or trip or kick or hit anything, but I woke up the day before yesterday with an ankle swollen so badly that I could barely get out of bed. And thanks to tuning forks and my medical magnets and medical bodywork techniques that I know, I am hobbling around, but certainly not back to normal in a gait perspective, nor in an energy perspective. And that brings up another subject. I'm very sensitive to frequencies and biomagnetics. And I believe that the solar flash has begun. And I think that it's cleansing. It is bringing rot to the surface. And I know this is true. People that I know that are sensitive are either having weird, crazy anxieties or things that are in them that shouldn't be there in their systems are being forced to the surface and kind of kicking them on their butts like this did me. So, yeah, I think we're in the beginning of the end here. So anyway, Dr. Beaulieu's human tuning. We left off, we talked about the 5-point star representing the nervous system, and in the perspective of 5-element theory, how a hip can affect the opposite shoulder and such. I don't have a lot of energy, so I'm just going to read this little bit here about the still point interlude and the first section of the next chapter. So, still point interlude. The importance of a still point is difficult to comprehend from the mindset of reaching goals and getting the job done. A moment of stillness, no matter how brief, is a glimpse into forever of what the Taoists called the absolute. You can experience this when you meditate on the glass-like surface of a still pond and toss a rock into it. Watch it as the ripples move outwards and return to the center, creating different patterns. Hold the picture of the still pond in your mind while you simultaneously enjoy the patterns until they return to stillness. Cheers. It's a big glass of water on this Florida June day. Listen to the wind chimes sounding in the breeze. When the breeze enters a still point, the chimes become silent. If you take in the larger picture, the trees or plants may still be moving with the breeze, yet the chimes are silent. They are momentarily in a node of stillness within the breeze. Listen to the silence the way you listened to the sound of the chimes. When the breeze resumes, listen to the chimes as though they were sounding within an ocean of silence. Himalayan rishis, or holy men, living in caves high in the mountains, are awakened every morning by stillness. The night breezes sweep through the mountains, and just as the sun begins to rise, there's an atmospheric shift, and the breezes stop. The Himalayan saints call this moment of stillness between night and day the Nova Swan. Each morning they are awakened by the silent stillness of the Nova Swan. The Yaqui sorcerer, Don Juan, believed he was the most powerful at dusk when stillness descended on the Sonoran Desert. He called these times of stillness glimpses into forever. He believed that anything is possible if one departs from inner silence. Echoic reflections. The connection between nervous system tuning and whole body posture can be clearly perceived in the anechoic chamber. The result of my listening to the Perfect Fifth was profound on many levels. At the time, My phenomenological research was based on systematically exploring through my direct experience. I adopted an energy medicine model based on system science protocols to integrate my discoveries into the healing arts. Over the years, I used palpation skills to evaluate hyper or hypo tensions on joints based on an ideal pattern related to the perfect fifth nervous system tuning. I used sound as well as touch therapy and verbal counseling to bring these tensions back into resonance with the ideal sound of the perfect fifth. The outcome of the work was profound, and I witnessed many healings. I knew there were profound biochemical changes taking place within the nervous system as it shifted. Because my work involved hands-on therapy with sound, I could feel areas of excess and tension relax. The biochemical effect of tuning forks, an ideal nervous system tuning. Research suggests that vibration transferred to neuronal, endothelial, and immune cells through tuning forks stimulates nitric oxide and sets off a cascading of physiological events which directly influences our health, well-being, state of mind, and consciousness. By understanding nitric oxide, we can establish a scientific link between molecular science, medicine, and sound healing. Nitric oxide, which is referred to in an abbreviation form as NO, is a molecule created by a nitrogen atom bound to an oxygen atom. It's one of the smallest molecules found in nature, consisting of one nitrogen atom and one oxygen atom. NO is fundamental to all life, human, animal, insect, and plant. In our human body, nitric oxide is made inside our vascular nerve and immune cells. It is then rhythmically released into the surrounding tissues as a gas. NO participates in the healthy function of all main organ systems. Immune, vascular, and neural cells release a constant level of nitric oxide in rhythmic cycles called puffing. This basal level of nitric oxide releases our cells and keeps them in a mildly alert state. When our cells detect viruses, bacteria, or free radicals, they activate and produce more nitric oxide. This symbol signals a cascading of biochemical events which destroys viruses, bacteria, and free radicals. For this reason, nitric oxide is called a signaling molecule. However, NO by itself also attacks and neutralizes viruses, bacteria, and free radicals. Once the invader is neutralized, NO signals the attack to stop, called down-regulating, which initiates another biochemical cascade, returning ourselves to a relaxed, alert state. Researchers term the rhythmic release of nitric oxide by cells puffing. The release of nitric oxide takes place in 6-minute puffing cycles, which are closely linked with the autonomic nervous system. So remember, you have your sympathetic, which is fight or flight, and your parasympathetic, which is rest and relax. And together, they are referred to as your autonomic nervous system. So the 6-minute puffing cycles are linked with the autonomic nervous system. During the 3-minute rising phase of puffing, nitrous oxide is released and signals the body to move into parasympathetic mode, that's rest and relax, causing cells to relax, move further apart, thin their walls, and become rounder. During the falling puffing phase, NO dissipates and signals the body to move into sympathetic mode, so that's fight or flight, causing the cells to go on alert, cluster together, thicken their cell walls, and become asymmetrical. A little demonstrative there. When we're under stress, the sympathetic-parasympathetic balance is often thrown off balance. The result is a compromise in nitric oxide puffing, leading to diminished NO production, and in extreme cases, a shutdown in nitric oxide production, which researchers call flatlining. Compromised NO production leads to a depressed immune function, which over time results in tissue pathology. The process begins as a lack of energy, joint pain, depression, decreased sexual drive, headaches, mild depression, memory loss, and poor digestion. Over a longer period of time, if nitric oxide rhythms are not re-stimulated, these symptoms can escalate into major diseases, including cardiovascular disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, autoimmune diseases, and cancer. And I'm just going to throw in right here, as someone who works in the bio fields around people, in the auric fields, in the Reiki fields, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter what you call it, it's all the same thing anyway. Disturbances and imbalances show up in those biomagnetic fields up to 9 months before they take hold in our body. 9 months, that's right. It takes 9 months to birth a symptom. And we will often find disturbances out in the biomagnetic field, which help people, well, like give them a definition of what they feel. Something doesn't feel quite right, but it's not a symptom yet. It's just something's not quite right. Something's off. And you find it, and if you've done this for a while and you tend to be clairaudient or, whatever your sensitivity is. I often see pictures, but sometimes I hear things too. We can give people information about what we see. Sometimes, you're working with someone and you find something off a biomagnetic center or a chakra or whatever you want to call it, and you're working on it and you're listening and you're waiting and you get feedback. You might see men, you might see generations of men, which could mean this is something from your father's side of the family, right? As opposed to this is yours, where you would see or hear maybe this person at a younger age and doing something or having some accident or something. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to throw that in. I mean, this is legit. This is real. You can find things out in the magnetic biosphere of a person or a dog or a cat or a horse or a cow or goat. You can. And you can treat it out there too. But the person has to be willing to accept that magic and take responsibility for changing their awareness about that frequency. Anyway, for example, one of the largest areas of medical research is the role of nitric oxide in cardiovascular disease. Nitric oxide works directly with the endothelial lining of the blood vessels. The endothelium is the innermost layer of tissue that lines arteries and blood vessels. The blood vessels in the skin, brain, heart, and all organs are lined with endothelial cells. We have 100,000 miles of blood vessels, creating an endothelium surface area larger than a football field. Hard to imagine. When endothelium cells are healthy, they puff nitric oxide. In the presence of nitric oxide, blood vessels are pliable, elastic, and able to naturally expand and contract with the pulsation of blood. White blood cells and platelets are able to move freely in the bloodstream. Simultaneously, nitric oxide acts as an immune enhancer, searching out and destroying opportunistic bacteria, viruses, and free radicals through the endothelium. When an unhealthy endothelium becomes inflamed due to compromised nitric oxide, its surface becomes hard and sticky, causing the white blood cells and platelets to adhere to the blood vessel walls, leading to arteriosclerosis. The consequences of this are far-reaching. For example, research is now being accumulated on Alzheimer's that indicates it's a vascular disorder instead of a neurological one. Capillaries in the brain are compromised due to compromised nitric oxide, resulting in the reduced oxygen and glucose supply to brain cells. Over time, this can lead to neurological dysfunction, cellular death, and dementia. Researchers use the word spiking to describe the stimulation and/or reactivation of nitric oxide puffing in the cells. Due to stress, nitric oxide puffing can be compromised and needs a stimulus to bring it back into rhythm. Research shows that a 128 CPS tuning fork, which is called the Auto 128, will spike nitric oxide and enhance nitric oxide puffing rhythms. This boost of nitric oxide balances the autonomic nervous system and signals the natural release of the antibacterial, antiviral, and 3 radicals in any microcellular level. Let me reach behind me and show you what that tuning fork looks like as I hobble over on my lame ankle. Thank God for microcurrent, tuning forks, kinesio tape, and herbal foot soaks. Or I would not be walking at all. Anyway, this is the Auto 128 that he was speaking of. 128C. And if you remember, it's referred to auto because here's a regular tuning fork that you strike like this, and the tines vibrate and the sound goes out. Autos, meaning osteophonic, have these weights at the top that force the vibration back down the tines into the handle, and then you put it on you. And you feel it too, and it's very, very, very effective. 128 Auto is one of those forks that could be easily be a first purchase. I mean, I always say a good first purchase is the perfect fifth, which is the C and the G, which I really don't want to get up again. My ankle is working very hard. Or this. So the perfect fifth are the regular tuning forks that look like this, but it's the C and the G that are part of the solar harmonic spectrum, part of the Fibonacci sequence. If you take the binaural between the frequency of that C and that G, it creates this. It creates 128. So this is the summation of that, of the binaural of the perfect fifth, but it's an auto, so you get that. And then he was talking about arteriosclerosis, and this is a low ohm fork. It's 88.5, and you can see that I sat on it. But actually, this is a great tuning fork for all things vascular. I have worked on a lot of veterans, still do. Some of them are battle injured, and most of the gentlemen, unfortunately, who are battle injured also have vascular problems and neurological problems that create heart problems, and this fork is very effective. Very, very, very effective with them. So let me just finish this here. We experimented with the tuning forks in the lab, trying to measure the effects of sound on human tissue. At first, the biochemists could not believe how fast the reaction took place, or that it even took place at all. We repeated the tests many times with many samples, always having the same results. We observed the nitric oxide spiking. The third test was the clincher. I gave a tuning fork to each biochemist, and what followed is something I'll never forget. 3 biochemists in white coats tapping their tuning forks and putting them on their bodies to feel the effects. I was elated because I had spent 28 years feeling the effects, and now the reductionist science was finally happening. That day, the scientists gave me the nickname Vibrating Jean, and a new doorway opened into the understanding of the power of sound to heal. So I'm going to stop right there because that actually took a lot of energy. Since I've got you here, I'm going to pull some cards. I really do believe, because I'm not the only person that's having, like, where did this come from? I did not hurt myself in any way, and yet I can barely walk. My ankle is so swollen. And I know people who are having serious lymphatic problems, nerve problems, people that usually don't get headaches, have headaches they can barely see, crazy aches and pains. I really do believe that the solar flare has started. And like I said, it's changing the frequency, it's changing the ions. We're being dosed with D and, gosh, I don't even know all the things we're being dosed with because of the solar flare. But it's bringing the waste to the surface. I really believe that. And so none of these discomforts are anything to be concerned with, you know, like, oh my God, I have to go to the doctor. No, you're not. Just drink lots of water and rest and eat lots of fruit and be patient with yourself. Your body is cleansing. It's cleansing. So let me just do, I've got my Kipper cards here. I love Kipper and Lenormand more than tarot any day. So let's see. Has the prophesied, let's say prophesied, has the prophesied solar flare begun? 3 cards, please. I take that as a yes. This is like the tower. This is what it says. Meeting, new information, collaboration. The solar flare is new information. And it hurts. It is a very positive meeting, but it unfortunately is bringing discomfort with it, because it's pulling all the garbage to the surface, and an end is near. Bottom of the deck is a short illness, which can literally be an illness, but it's also like the 4 of Swords card in tarot. So it's kind of like rest. Take the rest you need. Times of rest are coming. There might be some need to be a little bit of that Hermit card and process. Oh, and what's underneath that is a journey. And what's underneath that is a gift. I take this as a yes. Not the kind of yes that you might want, but yeah. Influx of new energy is making us sick in all the good ways, all the right ways. It's, you know, it's bringing that pimple to the surface. and an end is coming. So let me ask another question. Let me get another, let's see, let's go with the roses. Okay, is the solar flare, are the symptoms we're all feeling results of the cleansing effect of the solar flare? Yes, yes, yes. The answer is already yes. Think of the stork that brings the baby. New information is coming. New information is being brought to us. And unfortunately, you know, this is like the same reading. I mean, new information is coming. We had a meeting before in the Kipper. Clouds, well, that's like the sad news card. So we're going to go through some difficulty because of this. Yes, we are. And lilies, well, think of when you give lilies to people. They're often given at funerals. To mark an ending. Lilies also are symbolic of mature energy, you know, grandmas and older, mature, feminine energy, like that. Gentlemen, in this case, since I didn't pull out a card to specify me, I wasn't asking about me in particular, just refers to, it can be that male energy, discernment, critical thinking, reason, poise, chivalry. This is at the bottom of the deck, so it's kind of overlooking and influencing everything. The ship, again, we've got a journey. Remember, the card that was at the bottom of the deck was a short illness, which is like the Four of Swords. Just take the time you need to rest. And it was followed with a journey. And again, we're being followed with a journey. So, and Clover. And the card after the journey in the Kipper was a gift. So, 4-leaf clover, luck. So, interesting. These reads are very, very similar. So, yeah. So, I am taking this absolutely as a yes. The solar flare has started. If you're feeling weird, that's why. If you feel like you don't fit in your skin anymore, I totally feel that way. You know why? Because we have new energy here. And it is doing what clouds do. It is moving the ions around, and there will be storms, and there will be a passing, but there will also be a new sense of a kinder, more mature, feminine, and chivalry. See, he's holding a rose. Yeah. Interesting. Those readings were the same. Let's do let's see if we can get a time indicator. When can we expect this solar flash upheaval to pass? to be done. Let's see if we can. 3 cards, please. When can we expect this solar flare upheaval to pass? Holy cow. Yeah. Okay. Well. Three cups. The 3 of Cups is definitely the time demarcator, followed by the Devil and the 10 of Swords. And such a vibrant 10 of Swords. Let's check. Of the question, is this 3 of Cups the time demarcator? Yes, that's yes for me. So can we expect this solar flare upheaval to be over in 3 weeks? Oh, it's not saying no, but it's not saying yes. Can we expect this solar flare upheaval to be over in 3 months? It's moving through a lot of symptoms. And now it's saying yes, so it had to recalibrate that. So we can expect this solar flare magnetic upheaval to be over in the next 3 months. And now it's saying yes very clearly. Okay. Crap! Crap! 3 months! But you know what? That's a lot of people have said. A lot of people have said summer's going to be hot. And by fall, the world's going to look like a different place. So, sorry for the delay. Thank you for hanging out and being patient. And I will read some more tomorrow for you. Ciao.